Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Inside JMS. This is the place where we interview UNLV alumni that are doing cool and fun things in the professional world. I'm your host, AJ Valoria, alongside my co-hosts, Noah and Eli. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you guys?
Very good, very good.
Very good. Well, last episode we had the chance to talk to James Schaefer, who is a TV reporter over at Channel 8. And today we're going to switch gears a little bit to the entertainment side. So without further ado, joining us today is JC Fernandez. Thank you so much for being here on the pod.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, JC, you are a host for Las Vegas Now, which is, for those that don't know, Channel 8's lifestyle and entertainment show. It airs weekdays at 3 p.m. But on top of that, you're also now a morning reporter for Good Day Las Vegas, which is the morning show, which airs 4 a.m. To 7 a.m.
Yep.
So you're up like at the crack of dawn.
2:30 in the morning.
Which is just crazy. And thank you for taking your break time because he has a show later at 3 p.m.
This is awesome. Thank you guys for having me. This is really cool.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
and
thanks for coming.
Before Even TV, you had a long-running career in radio, 27 years at Mix 94.1.
Yep.
In which you were also a co-host for Mercedes in the Morning. So you're very seasoned in the broadcasting industry.
Yes.
But to tie this all back,
I would argue you are. I think everybody in Vegas knows Mercedes in the Morning.
Yeah. It's a legendary show, but am I seasoned? No.
Well, I was just telling JC this before we started recording. He was at Mix 94.1 longer than I've been alive. So, and
Probably than all you guys too, right? Yeah.
No, 30 years. I'm 30.
Oh, you're 30?
Yeah.
Okay. So I started at Mix 94.1 in 1997 is when I started at Mix 94.1. But I started here at KUNV in 1996.
Oh, and we'll get to all that. But tying it all back to UNLV, what some don't know is that you actually graduated from UNLV in 1997 with a degree in hospitality management.
Yep.
So we want to start by asking you what brought you to UNLV in the first place and what inspired you to pursue hospitality management?
Well, I was I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I was going to community college, and I was working in a hotel back east called the Inn at Lambertville Station, a little small 45-room hotel. And I loved hospitality. I loved working in hotel. I loved the people. I loved everything about it. And it was 1994. I finished 2 years at community college, and I wanted to get out and see the country and just like do more. So I took a semester off to find myself. I was still living at home and getting heat from my parents about what are you going to do? You're going back to school. And that's when the light bulb went off. Like, go back to college, but go somewhere, go travel, go away outside of Pennsylvania. So I went to the library and I got a book out about colleges, and I looked at the best hospitality schools, and I saw Cornell was number one. That was, no, can't do that. And I saw UNLV was number two. I'm like, wow. So actually, I think I called the school and asked them to send me an application, and I filled out the application. I mailed it in. Within a month later, I got accepted. This was in December of 1994. My dad and I flew out toward the campus. I was hooked. In January 95, I moved out and enrolled in classes.
I just want to say the hospitality building is still one of the most beautiful on campus.
Yep.
And I think just recently, our College of Hospitality was named number one.
Oh, it's taken out Cornell. Yeah. It was UNLV, it was Cornell, and the University of San Francisco at the time had a big hospitality program, and I actually applied to the University of San Francisco. And so my dad and I were out here. We're touring UNLV. Is it the CBC buildings? Is that still here? Has it been renamed, I think?
CBC, it might have been renamed. What do you...
Central Desert Complex?
It was CBC.
I know we do have a CBC.
I think it's been renamed. I think it's named after someone. But back then it was the CBC building. I remember my dad and I were inside there, and we're like, let's check in with your mom back home. We got on a payphone and called my mom, and she's like, oh, I love UNLV. And she's like, well, you got a letter from the University of San Francisco. Do you want me to open it? And my dad's like, yeah, open it, because if you're accepted, we'll fly up to San Francisco and check out the school. You can make your decision. So my mom opens up the letter, and she's like, we regret to inform you. So I'm like, UNLV it is.
So you found UNLV.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you found UNLV.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you see now, like since you went here, how the change has affected you, like
so
walking
big.
back onto campus?
It is it's so big. And thank you guys for having me. It was like a moment that I'm pulling in the parking lot, and I'm sitting here and park my car, and I'm like, wow, it's 30 years ago that I was on KUNV, and here I am back in the studios talking to students. One day you'll get to do this. It's cool. It's a moment for me to be back on campus. But when I was here, the campus was much smaller. The studios of KUNV was in the student union, third floor, tiny studio. was 96, 97. I felt like people were smoking. I don't know if they were or not, but I felt like it was
They
very
probably were.
smoky up there. It was jazz music all the time.
Which
And
it still is.
Still is? That's great.
Oh, yeah. KUNV is still a jazz station, yeah.
But it's just neat to see. We're walking through here, and I'm getting lost going to the bathroom. It's so big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still get lost.
I think KUNV is the #1 public jazz station,
Yeah, I believe it
like
is.
in the country.
Yeah.
In
Very
the
cool.
country.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
very cool.
the student station is the #1 in Nevada. The competition is on the UNR, I guess.
Heck yeah. We're
Okay.
But
There we
yeah.
go. There we go.
Hospitality.
Mhm.
You decided you wanted to go to school for that. How did you end up in radio? No, with it in your mind, like I'm gonna work at a hotel or help people.
Yeah.
How did you end up doing what you ended up doing?
Growing up, I loved Howard Stern. I listened to Howard Stern all the time. I was such a huge
Classic.
Howard Stern fan. Moved out here to Las Vegas, going to school here. Had this weird thing of like maybe I should try radio because I loved Howard Stern so much. It was kind of weird when I moved here to Las Vegas. I felt like here at UNLV, I was Sigma Chi, so I was in a fraternity. I felt like you could do anything. Like you could do anything in this town. And I said to myself, I want to try radio. Let me try it. And so that's how I got involved with KUNV, but I wanted to do more than that. And so I thought if I get an internship somewhere, as long as I get my foot in the door at a radio station, I'll be set. I just have to have the door open up for me. But then I discovered in order to get an internship, you have to be going to college. So I graduated in May of 97 with my hospitality degree, and I immediately re-enrolled to UNLV for a communications degree. Sole purpose of going back to school so I can get an internship.
Yeah.
Long story short, it was August of 97. I ended up getting a job at Mix 94.1 in the promotions department. And within 2 months, I was doing some work with Mark and Mercedes at the time. And then the rest was history.
And it just
That was it.
took off.
I got hired at the radio station. I told my parents, I said, let me try it for 1 year. Let me try the radio thing for 1 year. If it doesn't work out, I'll go back to hotel. I'll move back east. I don't know. 1 year turned into 27 years.
Wow.
That's
So
awesome.
you were a co-host for Mercedes in the Morning.
Mm-hmm.
How special was that for you?
It was awesome because I started out as a producer. In 97, it was Mark and Mercedes was the big radio show at the time. And it was really, we were #1. We were just, it was the biggest show. And it was really cool. It was an honor to be part of that show and to be part of that show during its growth. And we were the first show in Las Vegas to ever beat Howard Stern, which was just huge to beat Howard Stern. And then I was with Mark and Mercedes from 97 to 2001. And then 2001, I went to Washington, D.C. to do radio. And then I came back in 05 to be with Mark and Mercedes, still as the producer, but I was also on the air with them. And then it was 2014. Some changes were going down. Mark left, and they moved me into the co-host spot. And I got to host with Mercedes for 10 years.
That's
What was that
awesome.
like? Was it like a lot of competition trying to find you like that spot, or was it more of like a natural progression?
It was natural. It was natural because I'd been part of the show since the beginning of 97. I left, but I came back, and at that point, I'd been the third voice on the show for 10 years. So when Mark left, it was kind of a natural fit for me to step in as the co-host, and it was none of that. Who's this guy? Who's the new guy? Who's this guy with me? People knew me, so it was like, oh, that's cool. JC's now the co-host with Mercedes. It was a natural fit, and her and I had amazing chemistry on the air. It was
Which
really
plays a big role into being a co-host.
big time. Yeah, it was like 2013, 2014. Mark would call out a couple times, and so Mercedes and I would do the show together, and it was just like magic. It was just like there was great energy, and so when it came time that Mark was leaving, we knew that we already had something.
Well, before we move on to your embarking into your TV career,
Yes.
I just want to ask you, what was your favorite part of those 27 years in radio?
Oh boy, the connection I think to the community, because people still come up to me and say, "Oh, we miss you on the radio," or they'll say something, "Oh, we grew up listening to you guys with the Mark and Mercedes days or the Mercedes in the Morning days." Because there's people that don't even know of Mark and Mercedes because Mark left in 2014. That was a long time ago. But when someone comes up and says, "Oh, I remember coming out to the food drive to meet you guys. We used to do a big food drive every year." It's that connection. It's when people come up, or someone will come up and say, my parents, drive me to school, and we were listening to you and Mark and Mercedes, and now I'm driving my kid to school and listening to you and Mercedes in the morning. So it's the connection that means
full
the most.
circle moment.
Yeah, big time.
Well, speaking of personality,
Yes.
you also show your personality a lot on TV.
Okay. Yes.
So in your later years of radio, you ventured off into being a host on Las Vegas Now. So I want to ask how that transition was for you, going from radio to TV.
So Las Vegas Now is a lifestyle show that airs on Channel 8 CBS here, afternoons at 3 o'clock. And the show launched in February of 2017. And Mercedes was hired to be one of the part-time hosts. They had one full-time host that was going to be there Monday through Friday. And they had Mercedes, this guy by the name of Kendall Tenney, who was a former news anchor here in town. And then this girl, Lindsay, who was a social media TV personality as well, who were the 3 part-time hosts. So this one girl, her name was Stacy, she was going to host Monday through Friday. And then Mercedes, Kendall, and Lindsay would rotate as part-time host. And so I was so excited for Mercedes. This is awesome. So a week before the show starts, Stacy, who was going to be the full-time host, quits. She had other things going on. So now they're launching the show Las Vegas Now with 3 part-time hosts. And they didn't sign up to be full-time hosts because they had other things going on. So within the first 2 weeks, Mercedes had me come on the show to talk about the Grammys, just as like a guest, as her, her radio partner. And I went in there and I did one segment talking about the Grammys, and I fell in love with TV. I'm like, this is just, it's awesome. It's so cool. A couple days went by. Selena, who's our executive producer, she's like, do you want to come back in like on Friday just to, do a couple segments? I'm like, yeah. So I went in, did a couple segments. I'm like, this is amazing. And then probably a week or so after that, Kendall, who's one of the hosts, called out sick. They had me come in to host the entire show. And there was I just loved it.
That's
and
awesome.
Wanted to do it full
And
time.
he's going to do it in like 5 hours?
Yeah.
It's just a daily up for you.
Yeah. And I'm blessed. Like people say, how do you get up at 2:30 in the morning? I bounce out of bed. I love what I do. And they're like, oh, you got to come back. I go home, I do some errands, I shower, try to get back to the station by 1 o'clock. I'm driving back to that station so excited. I'm like racing back there. I cannot wait to get back in that building.
I love that for you.
I love it.
That's inspiring, actually,
yeah.
to be able to do something that you literally love.
And you should. I think everyone should. Like, there's people out there that aren't happy with their jobs. And I feel bad for them because I'm just like, I'm so blessed to do this. And, I for years I was thinking, that was in 2017, I started Las Vegas Now. I was thinking, how can I do both full time? A, there wasn't a position for it, but B, I'm like, how can I juggle full-time TV and full-time radio? And things just kind of played out in a certain way, and the universe heard what I was wishing for and made it happen.
I think there's like a big, like the influencer culture obviously is huge, but you think that people think like broadcast and influencing is the same thing, and they're totally different animals.
Yes.
What do you think it takes for someone today to break into broadcast?
Availability, determination. I go back to my TV when they call me, and I started off part-time, but I always made myself available. The best ability is availability, is an expression. But anytime Selena, our producer, would send me a text message saying, hey, can you host today? And it'd be at like noon and the show starts at 3, I'd say yes. If I had an appointment, I would cancel it. I just always made time to do TV. I mean, made myself available, and that just opened up more doors for me.
On that note, how integrated is media into your day-to-day? Like at this point, you wake up early, obviously, and you have a full day schedule. Like 7 days out of the week, are you waking up and do you practice at home? Do you take notes? Like, what does like a day look like for you?
As far as like prepping for TV or just...
Yeah, it sounds like you're busy. Like you have a lot of projects that you do. So
and I also have a car show that I do on YouTube. I host a weekly car show that's all about classic cars. So that's something I host, produce, and so that's another media undertaking. But I love doing that.
Your version of Jay's Garage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's called Cars, Shops, and Collections.
Oh, cool.
I've been doing it for 40 years now. New episode every Sunday. I've yet to miss a week, so it's another.
Congratulations!
Subscribe.
Thank you.
Yeah,
subscribe.
But yeah,
that's hard to do. By the way, it is very hard to not miss like your day schedule. And stay that consistent. So kudos.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. That's the thing too. You have to commit. You have to commit. And when I started the car show, I'm like, I'm not going to. It's funny because I told people that I was launching. This was in 4 years ago. So what, 2022? I told people, and everyone's like, it's awesome. Good for you. Oh, you love cars. That's great. I remember I told one person, and I won't say, I'm not going to name the person's name. And I said, hey, I'm starting this YouTube show about cars. And they laughed at me. They went, ah! Like, no, I'm serious. Like, oh. And it was just like that reaction of them laughing at me. So many times throughout the years where I might not have an episode booked, I'd be tired, I'd think of that person laughing at me. I'm like, I'm going to get this episode done just to show
I'm
that person.
proving them wrong.
Just to prove them wrong for 4 years.
Well, going back to Las Vegas now.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite interview on the show? Because you do a million interviews a week. But if you can name one, what's your favorite?
I'm a big wrestling fan, so anytime a professional wrestler comes in, they're always fun to talk to. Chris, do you guys get to know who Chris Kattan is?
Yeah,
from SNL?
I saw him. I saw his stand-up one time at Wise Guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I think he was probably in town for that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Chris Kattan was on SNL, and he did a character called Mango. And Mango did this bit where he was like half monkey, half man. It's SNL. And he would eat an apple, but he would eat it like so over the top, like the apple pieces were flying out everywhere. So he was coming on the show, and I was doing the interview with Kendall Tenney, who was one of the co-hosts at the time, and I brought in some apples. So I thought it'd be cool to do the mango bit with him on the air. Mm-hmm. And Selena, our producer, was like, you have to check with him. And so I asked him, and he's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, can I do it? And you can teach me how? And like, he's like, you can do it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm like, all right. So we're out there live, and so I'm like, hey, I brought these apples, and he takes it, and he starts doing the character. And he's eating it, and just like, he got all in on it. And I'm eating it, apples. It was one of these moments, I'm like, I watched Chris Kattan do Mango on SNL, eating these apples, and here I am on TV doing the apple bit with Chris Kattan. Is Chris Kattan the biggest name? No, but for me, it was like, wow, I am on live TV doing Mango with Chris Kattan, who did Mango on SNL. It was one of those moments.
And I'm sure you definitely made people at home laugh as well.
Hopefully so, because I was like in tears. And that's a lot of it too. If I interview someone that I watched growing up, those are moments for me. Because I'll sit there, I'm like, I watched you as a kid, and all those moments, like, holy cow. I watched you as a kid, and now we're on TV together.
Do you feel a certain level of responsibility to uphold that for other people who are watching and might feel that way about you? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's cool. If someone feels that way about me, that'd be awesome. I do feel like a certain responsibility, especially if it's a serious interview or someone has a charity they want to get across. I feel it is like my job to make sure that we tell their story properly. Because some people come on TV and they're nervous and they get lost and confused. And I feel like as a host, it's your job to kind of guide them and get those questions out. Celebrity and stuff are usually pretty good, but if you're coming on to talk about a charity or something that's very important to you, I feel a little bit of pressure to make sure that we tell that story properly.
True.
I'm sure you do a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
he does.
Thank you.
Well, overall on Las Vegas Now, what's your favorite part of the role, that position you have on Las Vegas Now?
As far as
a host,
I love being on. I love being on camera. I do. I love it. I just love walking into the studio because AJ and I work together, and there's a certain energy inside that studio. Like you walk in there, and you just feel this energy. When the light goes on and the camera's on and you're live, there's just this energy. When the show's over, there's this like rush of like, whoa, I did it. There's times where I get nervous sometimes. Like it could just be a regular interview. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on TV. There's other times where there's a big name coming in and I should be nervous, but I'm not. Priscilla Presley came in studio one day and it was booked like the day of. And I'm like, I am interviewing Elvis Presley's former wife, ex-wife. And in my mind, I'm like, I should have been nervous, but I wasn't. And I'm getting ready to do the interview and the prompter froze. And so I had to make up this intro for this thing. And all these things that can go wrong went wrong, but I was not nervous. It's just weird how that happens. But then the next day when I'm talking to Tom from his ice cream shop, I'm like, oh, it's really weird how it happens.
Yeah.
Were there any like missed opportunities? Maybe someone had to reschedule at the last minute that you were really bummed out that you didn't get to talk to?
Kevin Hart, just 2 weeks ago. It's funny. It's not bummed out because I couldn't talk to Kevin Hart. I'm bummed out because I spent 2 hours prepping to talk to Kevin Hart, because I do for any guest we have on. And I think podcasts are awesome. My wife works in the podcast space, but what I do, like if I'm interviewing Kevin Hart and I know I'm interviewing Kevin Hart tomorrow, I will go and listen to podcasts that interviewed Kevin Hart, and I'll have it on all the time and I'll take notes. That's why I do a lot of my prep. So if it's a big celebrity guest and it's more the fact that, I just spent X amount of time prepping for this interview for nothing. And Kevin had a busy schedule. It's nothing against Kevin Hart, it happens, but I remember when that got canceled, people on the station were like, oh, we missed Kevin Hart. I'm like, I wasted 2 hours today getting ready for this interview.
Let's talk about, so you were in radio at the same time as Las Vegas Now. And so that was a lot to juggle, like you said. But eventually, and this was just recently when you left Mix 94.1. This was last year.
December 2024.
December 2024, but you made the announcement in like 2025. Early.
Yeah, January 2025.
It's very recent.
Yes.
So when you left radio, then you took up a new position at Channel 8. So on top of being a host for Las Vegas Now, 5 days a week, you also work as a morning reporter, which is also, you kind of get that chance to be the more lighthearted personality on air. You get to do fun stuff and wake people up in the morning. But you've also had moments where you had to go out and cover breaking news.
Yes.
So how's that transition been, kind of going from, okay, just full entertainment to now you're going to have those moments where you're doing hard news?
Yeah. You talk about being nervous or being worried about something or practicing. It was practicing breaking news. When the position opened up, and I was talking to our boss at Channel 8, his name is Dan, about doing the morning reporter thing. And he's like, look, 95% of the time, you're going to be out there doing the fun stuff. You're going to be, showing stuff on Lake Mead. You're going to be doing eating stuff, goofy stuff, having fun. But there will be those breaking news stories. And I sat down with him and I said, I don't know if I can do those. I'm not the breaking news guy. And he's like, yes, you are. Like, first off, don't doubt yourself. You can do this. And it's kind of funny because he pointed something out. Because you've been doing radio for 27 years. You've been covering major news stories. You covered 9/11. I was there in Washington, D.C. the morning of 9/11. I covered that live. 1 October. We were on the air for 5 hours straight. The shooting here a couple years ago. We were on the air covering this. You covered breaking news. This is just a different way of covering breaking news. You're going to get to the scene. You're literally just going to give us the facts that you know. But he told me some tips on how to practice. He's like, practice it. And so I did. I went home and I would practice breaking news. I would give my wife a scenario like, okay, there was a car accident and 2 people were killed, and you play the role of a witness. So I would interview my wife and take a couple notes, and then I would practice for 60 seconds delivering what my wife just told me as if I was on live TV.
And fun fact, Dan actually teaches here.
That's right, yes.
He teaches Journalism 349, which is news producing, anchoring, and reporting. And he actually made us do that same exact exercise.
Did he really? Yeah.
Yeah, just breaking news is just...
And that's for me at least, the breaking news, when I get to, if it's a fire or a car crash or something, we don't know too much. No one knows too much. So it's pretty much just the basics, where I think that's where my radio skills come into play. Okay, I know 3 things. Someone was hit by a car, this was in the intersection, and this is what's affecting traffic. They toss it to me and I literally just talk about it for a minute. Hey guys, this is what we know. Someone was traveling southbound lane, they get hit by a car. These roads are closed. If you drive this way to work, you should go this way.
When you are not running around telling stories, what are you doing in your free time?
We've got 2 dogs. I like to go to the gym, and then I like to do my car show. That's it.
How do you find people for your car show? That's really cool, by the way, that you have a personal project that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I personally think it's impressive when media or people in media, professionals, have their own creative outlets.
Yes, and I think everyone should. My wife, she works for Sirius XM, and she rides horses. She's a competitive horseback rider. Oh, wow. And her and her girlfriends all ride horses. And same time that I launched my car show, they would always go out to dinner and talk horses. And one of the girls said, we should start a podcast. And it's like, all right. So my wife started a podcast about horseback riding, equestrian. It's called the 3 Stride Podcast. And it's her and her 2 girlfriends. Once a week, they record a podcast. Same thing. They never missed an episode. But they have endorsement deals. They have sponsorships. So kind of the same thing, that passion project. And for me, it was launching this car show. And when I first started out, I would literally stop people in the street. If we're at a stoplight and you pull up next to me in an old Dodge Challenger, I'd be like, hey, I got a YouTube show. Can I film your car? And people said yes. And then, once you get out there, people start spreading the word about your show and people reach out to me. But doing that car show opened up the door for me to be a host at SEMA. SEMA is a big car convention here in town. It's the biggest one in the world. 150,000 people come. It's a massive thing. And 2 years ago, they launched SEMA Live. It's on streaming. They cover the entire show, and I'm one of the broadcast hosts. Is SEMA Live? That's because yes, I have experience in TV, but that's because of my car show. Got me a gig hosting SEMA Live.
Yeah, you never know when one thing that you're doing is giving you experience in another part of your life.
Exactly. That's good.
And that kind of leads me to my last question today. and kind of tying it back to UNLV and the fact that you went here for hospitality management, do you think that your knowledge that you gained in that field kind of influenced your skills in the broadcasting industry, not only just in the broadcasting industry, but especially in Las Vegas, because we're kind of the hotel
Mecca?
Yes.
For me, going to UNLV, I learned so much. God, I loved it so much. Like I said, I'm in Sigma Chi. It's a fraternity. It's the relationships that I made going to school here. It's still like my buddies that were Sigma Chi's that we all graduated together. They're still my closest friends, and it's so funny. I'll call on someone to try to set up a live shot or some kind of interview, and I realize that we went to school together. I'm calling on a relationship that I established 30 years ago. So for me, it was, yes, the education was awesome. Was I using my hospitality degree in radio? Not really. But I love the education that I got here, but it's the relationships that I made. When we leave here, I'm going to call on a buddy of mine about trying to set up something for a Friday morning. It's just the connections. Yeah.
You said that you work with AJ. Can you give her a rating of 1 to 5 as an employee?
I would give her a 10. She was our intern.
Aww.
Yeah.
I did intern for Las Vegas now. But I also want to say a fun fact. Every time JC walks into the studio, you can see him with this C4 energy drink. So this whole time we're talking about his schedule, I'm like, when do you sleep? He doesn't. He just drinks a lot of that.
Yep. I have a question for you. You and I, every time I see you, I don't know why, I see AJ, I go, "What's up, AJ?" You're the only person I greet that way. Like, "What's up?" Like, I don't know why I just do that with you. Like, why does that?
I don't know. It's just the aura.
And the same thing, you're like, "What's up, JC?" I'm like, "What's up, AJ?"
It's not explainable.
That's how we just greet each other. It's kind of funny.
Yes.
And KUNV, jazz. That's how I started in '96. It's wild. I knew nothing about jazz.
Well, every time I walk into Greenspun Hall, all I can hear is that jazz. And it's calming, especially during this time.
This is my last thing. When it comes to wanting to pursue broadcasting and pursue your dreams, I said the best ability is availability. It was 1996 in KUNV. It was a club. It wasn't even a class. It was this club where you went in and they would teach you how to make an air check and how to run the board and everything else. And I'll never forget, because it was jazz during the day and it was alternative rock at night. We went in there was probably 20 some people, this big U-shaped table. And the program director is standing next to me. He's talking about what the club is, and you put a demo tape and eventually get on the air. And he says, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And goes around the room. And everyone, "I want to do alternative, da-da-da." I'm like, oh my God. Gets down to me. I can sense he's frustrated. He looks at me, he goes, "What do you want to do?" And I go, "Jazz." And he goes, "You want to be a jazz DJ?" I go, "Yeah, I love jazz. I want to be a jazz DJ." He goes, "See me after class or after this thing." And so I saw him, and I knew nothing about jazz. I just wanted to work in radio, and I wanted to get on the air. And I saw 20 people say alternative. And if I'm the one jazz guy, I'm going to get on faster than the other kids. And within 3 weeks, I was on the air.
Wow.
Stand out.
And I knew nothing about jazz.
I actually had something really similar with UNLV's radio station. I had just showed up. I was like, I want to do this.
Yes.
And they had one more spot, and it was for like hip hop or something. The show was called The Lit Side. And I was like totally not with that, but I just wanted to, same thing as you. I just wanted to be on the air. I didn't care what the music was. I just wanted the experience.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That opens up a door.
Yeah, and I still think that was like 2 years ago, and I still think about it every day. Like, I'm not even joking. It was just around this corner that the station was in.
It's wild that it happens.
Yeah.
I remember then, I did my demo tape, and the program director was like, "Okay, we need you to fill in next Wednesday." I'm like, oh my gosh. And this, you played your own music. Like, they didn't give you a playlist. You had to pull your own music and play it. And so I knew nothing. So I sat there for the next week during the day, listening to and writing down all the songs the other jazz DJs were playing. So I would have, stuff. And it was like a 4-hour shift, and like 2 hours into it, I'm like, I don't know what else to play. So I just started pulling some CDs and I'm playing them as progressive jazz. And I wasn't playing progressive jazz, and like the big boss walked in. He's like, "This is a progressive jazz show?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And he's like, "Well, why aren't you playing it?" I'm like, "I thought I would mix it up." He's like, "Don't mix it up." I'm like, "Okay." I don't know what progressive jazz is.
But you figured it out.
I made it work.
Well, moral of the story, try something new because you never know when it's going to be the best thing of your life.
Exactly.
Well, JC, thank you so much for coming in today and for coming back to UNLV.
This is really cool. This is really nice.
Yes, it was great learning from you, and that's going to do it for us on our second and final episode of the semester of Inside JMS. Again, I'm your host, AJ Valoria.
I'm Noah Ramirez.
I'm Eli Calandra. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you in the next episode.